Howdy guys, Tig here from Broke Left Stick Games. Today we're doing a workaround for the hardcore trophy in Disco Elysium. Typically this would be a very time-consuming trophy because you'd have to do a bunch of interviews, collect a bunch of drugs, collect a bunch of money to make past all the skill checks in the game. This current workaround kind of makes it where the skill checks become very evident and they're easy to see. So we're going to just show you step by step how to get through those, and we're going to start right now. So I'm going to go down, and most important thing that you want to do is go down to options. And you want to make sure that down here you see hardcore mode. You want to click that and make sure that's engaged.
Hardcore!
You'll know it's engaged because of the guy screaming hardcore. So you're going to back out of that. You're going to go up to new game. What you're going to do is move over to create your own. Then you are going to see intellect, psych, physique, and morale. Typically, if you're running a safe, clean run, you'd be doing just an intellect and physique because those are for most of the skill checks. All right, so you move for this, though. You want to move everything down to 1. And then you just want to hit your options button on your controller. And then that's going to bring you back to the main menu. You're going to click on that. You'll hit the cross button. It'll bring you back. Now, your screen may become a little weird when it brings you back. So you're going to go back into new game. You see how I'm kind of lagging here a little bit? You're going to go back into new game. It looks weird, right? So make sure you go the whole way to the right. You'll know it because of the back. There'll be that black background around that film. Click on the right again, and you're going to see your numbers. They're going to be in there. It's going to be 1661. Sometimes it's all 6s. If that is the case, move to the next screen by the cross button because there's a good chance that you're going to get what you need to get, which you're looking for 12s in your skills. Right here is the points that you put into those sections. So again, we're going to put these all to 1. And again, you'll see the top bar is filling up with more points. Those will probably stack when we go back out to the main menu. That's the goal we're trying to get to, is all 6s, and then we're going to move to the next screen and hope for all 12s with the skills. So you hit the start button again, options button for new school players. Go back to the main menu, cross button again. All right, hit new game again once your system catches up to you. Go back over to the right, far right. Create your own character. You see 1, 2, 5, and 4. Everybody gets different ones. It's a random roll, guys. So I will go back through this. I will hit start again. My goal is to see all 6s. When I see all 6s, I know I can jump ahead. Hit that, go back to the main menu, hit the cross button again. This is a process. This is something you're going to do. It's all random rolls, so it makes it a little complicated. And if this was the first time, I'd be like, oh, there's nothing to show you. So you go back to new game again. If I have to do this too many times, I'll probably clip out this section, but my hope is that it doesn't happen. So example, this is force. So if this was all 6s, you would hit the cross button to go back to the next page. And see how everything's 4? Okay, that's a great sign. But the goal is it does this weird glitch where when you're all 6s, these authority and rhetoric and drama, they'll go to 12. So what you want to do is just hit back again. Same process. Bring these to 1s. Hit that options button again. Main menu. Confirm. And I don't know why they chose to make this still available. I mean, this is something, looks like it can be patched out pretty easily, but maybe the developers wanted this to entice trophy hunters to buy the game so they can get through it a little quicker. I have no clue. I like to believe that in my mind, but I don't believe that's the case. I'm guessing there's just, there's probably a problem with the save file, and they could corrupt saves by changing this too much. Here we go, guys. These are the 6s. So the good chance here is, if you see these 6s, the next screen will be 12s. I'm going to hit the cross button, and we're going to hope. Boom, there we are with the 12s. So at this point, you are ready to confirm into the game. So what you do at this point is you hit that cross button. You're going to go into the game. It's going to do this opening intro. You're going to find yourself stumbling around anyway. You get up. Before you do anything in this game, hit this options button and save your game. Because from this point, you have the full stack thing, and you can knock that hardcore off. I mean, the trophy will become null and void if you're just doing a standard run. But if you do that, there's a couple checks in the game that will be easier. I even found that with this little glitch, that these checks are still difficult. There's 3 of them. The first one is when you meet with Titus. He's one of the union workers, and you push him But if you push him too far, like you're going to arrest him, there's a good chance, oh, I should say spoilers, that you will die. It's, even the speedrunners says, oh, push him, push him, push him. And I went through it like that and I died. So I don't want that not to be the case for you. So you want to push, but you don't want to arrest for Titus. Number 2, there is a section of the game where you're in front of a mural looking for a Ruby. It's a character that you'll find along the story. And there's 2 checks in this, but they're around 40% even with this little glitch. So you want to save halfway through if you get past the first check, and then again after that point, obviously when you get it fully checked through, because there's a break point between that one. And then after that section, there's one more skill check that I found to be extremely difficult. And the last one is the skill check for the fight in front of the hotel. There's going to be a fight. I'm not going to go into the main details, but it's a pretty massive fight, and it's after the Ruby section. So when you get to this, there's a couple things that happen that in that moment you should probably save right after you leave Ruby. You should save, because you're going to get to this situation and you might have to reload to get better rules, because there's a chance you might lose a person, or somebody might be, something might happen to them that they get hurt as well. And I don't want that to happen for you guys, and you guys come back and go like, oh, I lost all these people. I feel for you. I really do. But you're using a workaround anyway, so you're making this a quick run. Typically I just hit X here. I'm going to do that anyway. Get this out of the way. If you were doing a normal run, so you would skip that and you would actually put it into Shivers. Shivers is probably your good one. And then if you're doing it like a normal run, that would be what I would do, is put it into Shivers, and I would confirm. Okay, here we go. So it's going in right now. So we're going through that process. While it's loading in, I might as well just talk with you guys real quick and just tell you a couple workarounds. So a couple workarounds that I found that didn't match up with the speedrunner, I want to give a shout out to, is DocWalk. He did a world record speed run, and I think he was playing on non-hardcore. So there's a section of the game that that really doesn't work out. Oh, I'm actually jumping to my other game, so it's fine. So the section of the game that doesn't work out is when you verse up with Meathead. And all these tips, I'm just putting these extra. You guys, you got the answer already. So if you hit this point in the video, I just want to stop real quick and just say this. If you hit this point, it's going to a lot of be a rambling here. And I just want to get this out so you guys know that you already got the workaround. You're done. You can go. Auf Wiedersehen, all that fun stuff. But if you're still here, I'm just going to give you a couple more tips to help the burden of this hardcore run, even if you're stumbling wild with the workaround, because we're not wizards. All this, I watched the speed run, I watched the commentary, and even with that, there was parts that just didn't make sense. So there's a section of the game where you are getting up, and then you're going to check this body. I'm not going to get too many details, but you need to look for a specific item when you're going to look at this body, and then you'll go talk to a union boss. This boss is where the game got kind of confusing for me, because I didn't get to see the click downs that the speedrunner was doing. So he was telling me to go talk to another person, and what ended up happening is that person didn't go do what they needed to do with the body. So I had to do the workaround. Was, if you want to get this body down, you get your partner to try to attempt to shoot it down, and then he may miss, or he may, I don't think I've ever seen him get it, so he'll probably miss, and then you'll have a chance to do it. Luckily with this workaround, you will usually hit this skill check and you'll be able to get the body down this way. So that's one way that varies from the world record runner. Another variation that I came across was finding the location of Ruby. So you'll get to a point where you meet up with the union workers. I think it's on the second day, and these guys will be pretty tight-lipped. You'll find out about their lawyer and so forth like that, and you're trying to find the location of Ruby. You'll be bouncing back between Titus, who's the main union guy besides Ruby, and then this worker that's upstairs. Her name's Classy. And between her and Titus, you'll be asking them questions to try to find the location of Ruby, and if there's an eighth person. The part that varied for me is one thing. The speedrunner says, push, 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 but that's not completely true, because if you push to the point where you say you're going to rest, you will die. And then you'll have to reload your save. Who knows where you save last, and you'll have to reload all that point. So you want to push, but you don't want to arrest. Then you want to go talk to the worker upstairs. You'll pass her at the beginning of the game, so you'll know who she is. Anyway, you go back up and talk to her. Then she will give you more steps. You'll come back down, and you'll proceed to do this over and over again. It took me forever to figure this out, and eventually I got to the point where between the two of them, there's a tape you have to find. So my variation was that he gave me a tape eventually, and then I took that tape down to the pawn shop and was able to buy a boombox to play that tape. There is another location to play that tape. It's another variation, but I'm going to simplify and say I used the boombox, I used the tape, listened to the tape, then I talked to Classy. She gave me the information, then I talked to Titus, and then I was able to get the location or know where Ruby was. So after that, then I went down and got to the next section of the game. That was a very troublesome area. So after that area, you go down to the coast, you talk to the person down there. If you watch a speed run, it'll go point for point for this. But I just want to make it really basic to say that you'll go down, you'll stay in a shack, then you go to Ruby, and then there's another check skill by this mural where you're right at the section where you would be going to get to Ruby. And this one has 2 skill checks, and that's where I said you should be saving before anything that you think is going to be pivotal to the game. So any interviews or any possible skill checks, like random murals on the wall or like a situation that doesn't look right, like, you know, certain parts of the game. And then the last thing I want to say, guys, is there's one more skill check after the Ruby. And I know I went over this briefly when I did the first part of the video, and I just did that workaround. And I just really want to say that right after you do the Ruby and you meet up with Ruby, you will then be heading back towards the town. And this part is really pivotal, and this was cumbersome because I had to reload a section because I didn't want to lose my partner. And I will again say, spoilers here, guys, there's a chance you can lose a partner in this fight after Ruby. So you'll be coming back up to the village, and you'll save right before you cross that crosswalk that we had to open up. You come across the bridge, and this fight will break out in front of the hotel. And at that point, you'll get into this altercation with the mercenaries and the union reps. And what you want to do in that situation is you do want to show authority, and you do want to try to use your skill checks to see if you can roll past. And sometimes you'll fail those. That's why you need to maybe make that save, because you need to make it past those skill checks. But there's one pivotal skill check that when after you take a bullet, that your partner doesn't realize a person's behind them, so you have to quickly tell him. And if you do that and you pass that skill check, then your partner will live. And if you had a clean run and you didn't drink any alcohol or did any drugs, and you became friends with your partner, Kim Kusaragi, there's a high chance that at the end of the game, he'll be so proud of your work that he will join up with you. So there's a chance you could get another trophy for having Kim join your team, your partner join your team. There's a couple other trophies that you could get by running a clean run. If you're very apologetic, you'll get an apologetic trophy. There's so many weird variations around the way that you have to do the checksums in the games and the way you have to do the meetings and so forth like that. But that's for another video. So for this one, I just want to finish up and say we found the workaround. We got hardcore done, and I realize at some point this may be patched and I might well disable the video, but for right now, this is a pretty easy way to cut your time down. If you're really buzzing and you hit every skill check, you could probably do it around that world record time. I did a little bit over that. It was like 2 hours to finish it, and it was just a little cumbersome. And I realized that his version wasn't the hardcore run, it was a normal run, so the skill checks were a lot easier to accomplish. And with that, guys, I thank you for coming here. We appreciate you here at Broke Left Stick Games. You can follow us on Twitter at Broke Left Stick, and we will see you next time. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, all that bell fun stuff, and hopefully see you next one. All right, thanks.